Hi guys, thank you very much for joining me. Paulina here, talking to you about this incredible full moon in Aries on the 24th to the 25th of September 2018. It is now the equinox, it is the 21st of September, and what a beautiful time to be. So, as you probably have been keeping up with my blogs, you might see sort of like an interesting meter in which these days have created themselves. So we've become much more sensitive to the outside world, and our inner world as well has followed. And I hope that you, as I, have created some shifts just through allowing the senses to unfold and creating space for yourself to be vulnerable and in some way perhaps very surprising to yourself. If you have created maybe some space to be alone or some space to resensitize your senses, you would have probably found a lot more during this particular year, as this month of September to me felt like a very vulnerabilizing and a very sensitizing time. So here we are, the 21st. I hope that your equinox is beautiful. If you'd like to know more about celebration of equinoxes, there's lots of information online. I generally have this rule for the September equinox to let things go and let things come to an end, because it is on the global descendant. So that cusp between Virgo and Libra has a very, very incredible opportunity to die and to shift into a new frontier. So it is as if you are coming out of your previous dimension and going into the new, or in a sense as if something is dying or coming to an end to allow or facilitate for greater change. So thank you very much for joining me. It is a very, very intense time. We have a very, very strong emotional month actually coming up in October, as I will be talking about it by the end of September. There will be videos on the next month, on the coming month of October. But before this emotional time really sets in, we have to really find ourselves. The moon is reborn here during this shift. The moon is at the moment going through Pisces, so it is a very, very fragile time, very, very lunar, very, very emotive time for us all to really surrender to the sensitizing time, as it is going to really start to solidify and come to an ultimate creative point in Libra by the 25th of September. So at this point in time, we're still quite sensitive and we're quite lucid, and I hope for us all there has been some kind of an ending and some kind of a new start. So unless you are still working and still trying to make ends meet, please try to consider how else you can relax and reflect and allow this time to really bring forth whatever is new, whatever is soft, whatever is gentle and generous for you, and whatever is creating more and more lucidity in your life, as if you're dream walking through it without having to really apply too much strength or too much perseverance in your day-to-day. So we got Chiron. We got Chiron at a very, very vulnerable point, as you can see on this particular chart. On the 0 degrees Aries. So this is one of the most crucial turning points for Chiron, as well as the wounded healer is reborn during this time. And as we had Aries Chiron for a little while, you might have noticed that there is a first feeling about some things, and perhaps there is also like a vulnerable feeling about things that has never been. So a new vulnerability, new sensitivity, and new coming of age, or like feeling in touch with one's soul. That is what Chiron on this global ascendant point means. And here we have Moon gracing Chiron in a very, very supreme and meaningful way. So without a doubt, there's going to be some kind of phase turnover. Aries full moon, the beginning and the end. So we've gone through the first 6 months of the year. Now we are coming to a certain type of, well, I suppose, equinox turning point, and the second half of the year will unfold, ending on the 21st of March 2019. So here we're kind of tumbling in to the greatest gifts, or the greater focus of what a dog year would have for us. So how are you feeling? Have a look at your friends, have a look at your situations, and have a look at the types of people and representations that are right for you, and the type of media that you choose to involve yourself in, the types of things that you use your time to develop, and also the types of circulatory situations that keep on revolving around you. So what are you talking about? What do you like to dream out loud with others? What do you participate in? That's very, very important. But also don't forget to turn over a new leaf. Okay, so equinox 21st, 22nd of October. By the 25th, there should be a definite something new, and something that is perhaps a lot more resistant and resilient than before, as this moon to me represents or recommends rather a now new resilience in that which the Virgin lucidity for the last couple of weeks has provided. So the sensitivity that we've experienced will come to an end. So as painful and as tormenting sometimes as lucid months can be, they usually lead to a really nice standstill and a solid point, which then evokes a new type of image. And Aries moon is truly about image and the sense of me, the meanness, the ego reborn, or like the boost of one's own soul. The most important thing I would probably say here is not to trust anyone or anything that is trying to corrupt your new cycle. So for example, if you have through some sensitivity had some new developments with your work, or you've met somebody, or you had like a new sense of style or a new sense of self during September month, here sometimes people can come out of the woodwork and tell us not to do so. For example, you might have created a new branch of your business or your company, and by the end of September you might be very sorry that you did, or there might be somebody questioning you why you've done this. So the thing is not to worry and to just step in or step up. For some of us there will be a time to reconsider. For a few people definitely this moon is not really to do with structure, but to do with a reality check. It's like a reality check. There's a robustness in the air. There's like a fresh new vortex of time created here because as you can see, Saturn is holding up this incredible opposition between the Sun and the Moon together. So this peak in Saturn between, of course, square to the Moon and the Sun is incredible sort of like layering and a question of competence. You know, is it really competent enough to start these things anew or to create this brand new type of reality for yourself? Are you really competent enough within yourself as a player in the game? Do you really feel that what you lost and what you found is well adjusted, or do you really feel attained or understood or respected enough as a human being, and whoever you are trying to approach, or whoever you are trying to consume, or and whatever you are trying to manifest your later years, because we are really working within time, you know, Chiron moon, Saturn square, I mean, Sun and Mercury conjunct. This is, do you deserve to take this on for a long time? Like, how is this going to reflect, or how's it going to comply with your later reality? What other different types of time zones you can, time vortexes, I suppose, you can imagine coming out of the here and now, and what other timely changes needed to really preserve and contain your current reality spectrum? Like, what are you really doing in later years with that which you have? How's it going to impact your greater future? So if you are watching this on the equinox, trust the sensitivity and please try to get the ball rolling. So for example, if for the last few weeks you've been feeling really regretful, as Virgo sometimes can bring that about in a dog year, and if you've been kind of feeling less than, unsure, questioning your inner core and your inner center, it's such an interesting time during this particular month to really enjoy the obvious. So as I've written before, like I've been writing about this for a couple of weeks, so take care of yourself and your sensitivities, and also that which is obvious to you that was perhaps before under the rug, or that which you don't usually like to notice about things in yourself that is now coming true, or coming to a certain type of like a sharp point. So it's very good to follow your senses and the sensitivity before it ends, because this is not unlimited sensitivity. We weren't given this time of lucidity forever. We were just kind of like given it as a certain type of refocusing tool as we become more sensitive to ourselves through the sensitivity to the outside forces, or like what seems like an external force. And as you already know, if you study esoterics and spirituality, everything is inside, it's all internal always. But this sort of means to me that the new frontier will become something better if we're able to really move with and to allow and to trust these sort of like sensitivities to take us into the new self. But by the 25th of October, as I've mentioned earlier, there's going to be a solid closing off. So either you are with it or you're not with it. You're going this way or you're going that way. Either you disregard a few neurotic chances that you could have taken during September month, and also earlier, you know, even back in July, back in June. Either you are going with these things, or you're starting to regret what you've done. And please pay attention to this. So for example, if you created a few vortexes in the last while, and the people that you're sitting with and breaking bread with, you're not really understanding, you're not sure about each other's focus, you're not quite containing each other's space, you're sort of talking over each other, and you're like trying to fashion out of this something else. Or if you're like starting to recognize that your job is becoming a daunting task and there's no more that you can do, and there's perhaps mistakes that you've been making, or things are just falling out of your hands, or you are saying words that just like come out as if, by accident, that perhaps corrupt certain scenes, or certain situations, as we are like enlightening Mercury here with Sun conjunction. It is very, very good to now understand the Freudian slips. What are you trying to say that you're not saying? What are you trying to keep behind closed doors that is just like spilling out of you? What are you sensitive about? But also, what are you letting happen to you? It's like, sometimes people do this. This is very, very important to note. This happens with self-destruction cycles and addictive cycles and things like that. It's as if you cannot stop and you're just letting it help you in some way, but also manage other people without managing you. You're just watching a scene, you're just watching things happen as if not by choice. So these disempowerment schemes also have to be looked at and considered. And then by the 24th, maybe like the latest 25th, really try to no longer be stuck in situations and jobs and recreational activities and psychic activity and physical, sensual, or social activity that just does not feel good. If it feels like it's hurting you, it feels like you're in pain. If it feels like you're no longer you, but you're somebody else's servant, or you're somebody else's window, you're somebody else's mirror, or something like that. You're just like a punching bag for another, or you're just getting yourself together through trying to serve someone else, because dog year is usually a very social time. It is such a good time to really step away from any deep, dark thoughts, deep, dark, nervous patterns, deep, dark situations that are just not serving anybody at all. And they're actually containing you further and further within that prism. And by the 25th of September, by the 25th of September, is going to be very, very sound. Everything is going to feel a lot less sensitive. We've sort of flinging things away. We're not going to let sorrow rule our lives. We're not going to any longer really count on other people to know us or connect with us or bounce with us as we did this September. We're going to really start to basically become solid, as Libra makes us a lot less sensitized and a lot less sort of like frugal with our time. So please take care of yourself. And this sensitivity truly is a gift during this time, as you can actually become much, much better equipped at pretty much anything in life just by noticing who you are with these increasingly sensitive senses that we're all developing during this time. And yes, by the end of the week, it should all, next week, by the end of the week, it should all sort of come true. So it's like, for example, if you have been setting something up for the last few weeks, it's going to start to just naturally pull itself together. As Libra, this time is a very formative vibration. It's either going to last or it's not. But the thing is, what you have created and what you're sensitive to and what you've been thinking about and what you've been kind of mesmerized by, or what you've been kind of trying not to be mesmerized by, is all going to sort of start making its own vortex. So this automated feeling, as I've been talking about this since August actually, this feeling of things being in swing, this feeling of things being as if like on a skateboard. So momentum sort of makes itself happen during these months, these types of months. There's going to become hidden where it is now, and it's going to take place elsewhere. So here in Libra, as we're entering October, things are gonna come in by themselves. Components are going to come in by themselves. People that are ready to nurture each other are going to come together by themselves. Groups are formed by themselves. Industries are formed by themselves. Things end up sort of like fishing themselves out of the ether on their own accord, as if so. The people that you need to meet will naturally be there, also, for example, the person that is really, really tough on you and is really hard to communicate with will suddenly become unavailable and things like that. So very mystical October for us. It is very dark October as well. I will actually talk about it by the end of September, so expect another reading for all signs for October month. But yeah, at the moment, before things change and this momentum changes the way that it works with with you, with your reality and your senses. Before that happens, please take advantage, and by the 25th of September, really connect to this new level of sensitivity, this new wave of ascension that is just, like blooming out of this forever now, and also this incredible perhaps need to get there, to feel, to really open. Any types of openness that was not there should be understood. All that which was closed, now open, should be recognized. Also, that which is no longer open should also be understood. Like, for example, if you just can't do the same job anymore, or like you just can't lift a finger, you can't type anymore, or you can't turn up to your work anymore without feeling resentment and hardship, all of these types of things, they will no longer be available for molding later. So please take advantage of this. Mold as you can, what you will and how you will. Try to set the most advantageous intention for the next series of events, but also for some of you, I feel that recognition can come in 2s and 3s and 4s. So it's not just about molding that one reality or getting that one reality check recognized. It's more about molding things on separate levels and many different dimensional realizations. So, for example, you might be in a relationship, you might be, say, for example, new to an experience. Maybe you might be in a state of recognition of your gifts. Maybe you are also in a state of, for example, expanding your business or your career. You may be in a state of cleansing and understanding the cycles that your body goes through, and maybe at the same time you might also be remolding or remending your relationship with your mother, for example. So there could be lots and lots of different things taking place. Don't get seduced by any one thing, because we're in such a lucid time. Sometimes we can become very seduced with the one aspect of our neurotic expansion during such a time, and then we can forget everything else. So, for example, if you are really, really perplexed with your relationship, you might not see what your child is up to, and then you might not understand what your business is doing, or how your career is going. You may not be totally in touch with yourself, or, for example, you got divine inspiration, you want to play the piano, you want to write music again, and at the same time you're not understanding that, for example, your endocrine health is low, or you haven't got enough money in the bank, for example, to pay rent. So it's really, really important to see how you can connect all the different points here without losing touch. So it's on one hand adjusting to the sensitivity even further, and on the other hand is also not perpetrating through anything too harshly, so not solidifying anything too harshly just yet. By the 25th, everything will naturally solidify. It is just kind of like clay drying in the sun. It'll just naturally solidify, and then it's not going to be as easy to break or adjust. So have a look and see how you can now use this time to really mold into the new you. Thank you very much. I hope you had fun. All the details are in the caption section below, and I will see you next month. Thank you. Bye.